Morning. It is February 10th, the work session for the planning board. We have two items to cover this morning work session. First one is Pickwick. The second will be 3350 Erie. I think we have representative for Pickwick for this. Is that correct?
Yes. Hello.
Wonderful. Welcome. Good morning, Steve.
Hi. Is that Eric?
All right.
Is that Eric?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Good morning.
Hi, Eric. Good morning.
Why don't you go ahead and give us kind of a brief update? It looks like we received some sign options.
Right.
And then we'll see.
I submitted 4 options. The basic signs that are on the building now, including the 3 signs on Pickwick Road that are 12 inches by 96. The main front sign on the side of the front of the property for Keepsake Tattoo, and the hanging sign in the front for on Genesee Street, and also on east and west side in the front. Excuse me, Eric. After submitting these, we talked, and you said I should come up with some options. So I have basically 4 variations of the same thing here. They are the variations include some proposals with borders on the sign, some one with I think a pinstripe border, one with a larger, bigger border. I've got different color schemes. I've got one proposal with the gray background, one with, I don't know, do you want me to follow where you are, or just explain in general, Eric?
Give us an explanation, your intent, because I think like you mentioned, there are some which are, a generic font with a border, the color, just kind of intent behind the
one you have there is a proposal that it has a green background with white lettering and rounded corners. I thought that was a possibility. Then I've got one proposal that has a beige background with black lettering, and for these optional proposals, the designer only did the 3 signs on the Pickwick Road site. He didn't do the main. He didn't do for the sake of brevity. He didn't do the entire proposal, but the theme would be the same for all signs. That's the point, is that they'd all be the same color. They'd all have the same font and the same lettering, coloration, and shape. So
the Keepsake Tattoo would be 20 inches tall versus.
That's right. As on the original proposal, yes. So is that helpful?
Yes.
Do you need anything else? What else can I tell you about them?
Do you have any intent to repaint the building? Not the brick, but
no. Yes, well, that's a possibility. Yes, that's a possibility. It was painted fairly recently, and I think that that is a possibility. Yes, the trim.
I'm thinking the gable end, the
columns,
trim.
the fascia.
Yep.
Yes. So that is a possibility. I don't have plans right now to do it, but it's a possibility. Yes. I want to make the building look as good as it can look. And so if that helps, then yes.
And then you've got Keepsake Tattoo, which is the business name, but then you also have hair salon, vacant, dog shop.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, is there any intent to use the tenant name instead of hair salon? Would it be Becky's hair?
No. The tenant's name is Deb there, and I had talked to her about changing that. I think we could do that if that's a possibility. But the name of her shop is called Angela and Friends, which is important to her because there was a person in her life that was important, and she sort of dedicated her shop to a friend that she knew many years ago who passed away. So that's the name of her shop. So I don't think she's going to want her name on the sign. It would be probably involve Angela and Friends if she were to do that.
So I think what we would have to establish is the color, the border, the size, the font. And then if the tenant name is added or changed, as long as it fits that criteria.
That's generally what we have on signs is the tenant name.
Right.
Rather than generic name.
So then
I didn't follow all that, but I'm all ears. So let me know if I can say anything or if you.
We were saying that generally there's the tenant name on the sign rather than a generic description. But so long as we get to a point where we can improve the color, the font, the style, so long as whatever the tenant name fits those criteria, you'd be okay to install it. Because obviously you wouldn't be putting a sign that just says vacant. So we're at the point where we're just getting the look of it down, and then when it comes time to permit the sign, you could put the actual business name on the sign.
Right. Okay. So in this case, in the case of the hair salon, what I'm saying is I think the name of her shop is Angela and Friends. And that would be, I think, the name that she would want on the sign, not Deb's Hair or whatever, not her own name.
Which is fine. And again, as long as it fits with that font, the color, the size, like if it fits in that criteria, it could be Angela and Friends. We wouldn't have an issue with that.
Okay.
So then in terms of color, in the option that was provided, the one that we're looking at here, I think.
Yeah, the designer chose brown first. I don't want to talk over you, Eric, but he chose brown. I told him we need something that looks nice with the building, and he came up with the brown. So, but we have all sorts of flexibility in terms of color.
Yeah, so I think that one there complements the brick.
Yeah.
On the building.
Yes.
But I think what we'd want to likely see is the lavender color be white. That I think ties everything together.
Okay, could you say that again? I missed that word. The what color be white?
The lavender, whatever the purplish.
The trim.
The trim. The trim. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I would go further than just trim, but it would be the columns, it would be the fascia, it would be the gable end building.
Well, we had mentioned that earlier. I think in a conversation you and I had, I said, oh, by the way, 10 years ago, the white background looked great because it was white, and I pulled up a picture of it. And so, yes, okay.
No, just the brick stand out. But no, the sign would be white. The sign would be that color.
So the sign would be that cream color with the black.
Yeah.
With the border.
Thank you, Kathleen. Is that right, Eric? Are we all on the same page? That's this guy right here, right?
Yeah, the one on the screen right now.
Yeah, it looks white. Yeah, okay, I see. Okay.
On the top, it says order 27964.
Right.
Well, I guess they all say that.
Option number 3. We're talking about option number 3 here on this.
Option 3, correct.
Okay.
That sign, that color with a, painting all of it, and I'll just use lavender because I think I would equate that color too.
And then
the rest of the building being white with the brick remaining brick color.
Okay.
And I think you probably have yourself a project at that point.
Yes.
I know at one point you were speaking with the tattoo shop owner and there was thought of incorporating his existing sign in here somehow. Has there been any further conversation with him? Would he be okay with this style of sign?
Yeah, we have talked to him about it. And he's okay with this style, Eric.
Okay.
His existing sign is a one-shot sign. It was, and it's not reproducible, and so we can't accommodate his existing sign on the outside of the building. It doesn't fit, and it doesn't. I need two signs for him that need to be consistent on both sides of the facade, and he's only got one sign anyway.
Okay, just want to make sure that he's understanding this process and what he would get for a sign.
I think he may be at this meeting, so yeah, we've discussed that. I've invited him to this meeting, so
good. So with this, the height of these signs being 12 inches, you would still need a variance for the distance below the eave height. Is that correct?
That's as it was explained to me. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not, you'll have the 80 inches of clearance. So we're not going to think of any railings or anything. We'll just make a recommendation to the ZBA for the distance below the eave height. Okay.
Correct. That's my understanding.
Yep.
Want to give me time frames on that?
Do you know the next ZBA meeting?
The next one is, again, be in by the 23rd for the 16th, because the next one is next week. That's already.
Yeah, so the deadline for the next ZBA meeting that's open is for March 16th, and the deadline is February 23rd.
Okay. Did you say DBA? I thought it was Z. Is it Z or D?
Z, Zoning Board
Zebra.
of Appeals.
Yeah, thank you. ZBA. Right.
Got it.
And the deadline is March 23rd. Yes.
It's
February 23rd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Thank you.
you know what? I'm giving the wrong date. Sorry, I'm in the wrong month here. No,
You're right.
I'm right.
You're right.
February 23rd.
For the March 16th
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
So I can work with you to get that application in. And then you would come back to the planning board for one of the Thursday evening meetings. The
Yes.
planning board would make a recommendation to the ZBA. Then you would go to that ZBA meeting on
March 16th.
March 16th. Then you would come back to the planning board for the final approval.
Okay. So the planning board, the next planning board meeting would be before the ZBA. So that would have to be before if the deadline is the 23rd, I'd have to get the plan to the planning board before the 23rd. And then try to get on the agenda for the ZBA by the 23rd. Is that right?
Yeah, your application would be due by the 23rd.
Yep.
On the 26th at our meeting, we would be able to make a recommendation.
Oh, okay.
Because your application is in.
I got you.
Active, and then you would go to ZBA for the meeting on the 16th, at which they would either approve or deny based on our recommendation.
Yes.
Then come back to us. After that, our final meeting in March on the 26th. We would not be able to act before that point.
You would not be able to do what before that point, Eric?
To act. Yeah.
To approve.
Make a decision, approve. You know,
Okay.
I mean, we would have to see what ZBA comes back with. That meeting is on March 16th. Our next planning board meeting after the 16th is the 26th of March.
Okay. And what are the chances that would pass the ZBA?
I mean,
If the planning board makes the recommendation to approve it, they generally go with the planning board, but it's a separate board, so we can't make any promises.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah. So
What
then
else? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
window signage.
Yep.
There was mention of neon signs.
Yes.
You can do window signage up to 25% of the window area
Yes.
It stays under the square footage with the regular.
with the regular sign. And Eric can work you through all of that. Neon signs, however, are not going to be allowed.
Is that I understood that they were allowed if it's a window sign, if they're inside the space. They're inside the tenant space.
Not in the window as an advertisement for the business, because they're not compatible with the neighborhood or the building.
Okay.
But if you had like a static cling sticker, I don't know what those things are actually called.
Yeah.
Lettering. Yeah, something lettering in there that could work, but it can't be more than 25% of the window, and the area of that sign plus the tenant sign can't exceed
75 square feet.
75 square feet.
Okay.
But no illuminated lit signs in the windows.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I got an idea, guys. Why doesn't the town of DeWitt buy this building from me?
I think you'd have to talk to the town board, not the planning board.
All right. Well, I think I think you guys obviously are interested in this building, and it's in a critical area, and this whole process has been grueling for me and for the owners, and I have basically almost a vacant building at this point, and I'm thinking that maybe the town of DeWitt might be interested in controlling this piece of property. So I'll pursue that.
Can certainly talk to the town supervisor.
That's an aside. I'm sorry, Eric.
That's out of our purview.
Yep. Okay.
Great. I think we look forward to having you get that application in, and we'll.
So I have one other question for you. You and I had talked a while back about as we go through this process. It seems like the only issue with the whole plan that it wasn't approved, I guess, originally was the 3 signs on Pickwick Road that they don't meet the 12-inch from the eave criteria, and what as one option, I might just get rid of those signs. How do you guys feel about that?
Where would you identify the business names?
Well, that's a good question. That's a darn good question. But I don't know. I don't know that. That's a good question, though.
I mean, that's completely up to you. I mean, if you don't have signs on the building, that doesn't really impact us.
Right. So, okay. Well, that's a possibility.
So just to be clear, you would still have to get a multi-tenant sign plan approved with any window signs that you were planning on using to identify the business.
Or for the tattoo place.
For the tattoo, yes, right.
Signs in the building at all.
Right. Well, okay. So the thing about one of the things about the building is that the building is I've just lost another tenant here, and so I've got vacancy now, and so I don't have a tenant in place. So there's no way of knowing what kinds of window signs a new person who's coming in might want to place. So how do we? I think that the approval would be for the 25% rule, and then the person would come in and apply for is that right? A sign, and you would make sure at that point that it was within the 25% rule. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you would just get a permit for the sign at that point if you are doing a building sign.
So if I were to switch to Plan B, which is just eliminating these 3 signs on Pickwick Road altogether, then what would be the next step here? I would like to get. I still need to get through this process because I have a tenant in waiting here for this, and the idea here would be that it would speed up the approval process, that I wouldn't have to go for a variance to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So so if I were to eliminate those 3 signs on Pickwick Road, then my guess is that I would modify my sign plan, eliminate those 3 signs, and come back and get on the next planning board meeting and present that. Is that correct?
Yes, if you're eliminating the signs, then you wouldn't need a variance. So you could just get your multi-tenant sign plan approved.
Okay. And okay, and then we've talked about the we've got the name on the sign. The main sign then would be the front for the keepsake tattoo, and we talked about the background being a beige and the lettering being whatever it is on option 3 of the plans. So that still holds if I do switch to Plan B and eliminate all 3 Pickwick Road signs. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Do you want to leave open the possibility of having signs there in the future? Like, do you want? So I guess if you decided at some point in the future, then say you go forward with no signage and we approve the multi-tenant sign package. If you decide at some point in the future that you want signs for any of those 3 spaces, then you would have to come back to the planning board to update that multi-tenant sign package.
Right. I gotcha. So that's why that would argue for just continuing on as we've been discussing and working toward all along, Eric. That's right. And the timing is becoming an issue for the building, and also the expense. I think I understand. Is that everything that you're saying that we've got to eliminate the neon sign there, the 1 neon sign?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So given that, then go ahead. I'm sorry?
Have that business name on a sign if you want to do the building signs.
So that would then, okay, thank you very much for that. So the business name would be Angela and Friends, and that would have to replace the one that says hair salon, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just Angela and Friends, is that adequate?
Yeah, we just want the business.
The business, okay.
Yeah, just an identifier of what the business is.
Okay. So as far as the color of the trim, I don't have a budget to do that in the near future.
So if you decide you want to do that in the future, give Eric a call and just come back in and talk to us. And we'll figure out what needs to happen at that point.
Yeah.
But that would probably be an update to your site plan.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just when you decide what you want to do there, just give Eric a call and we'll want to see the color and we can figure out what needs to happen.
You mean in terms of painting we're talking about?
Yeah,
yes.
If you decide you want to do that at some point, just give Eric a call and we can figure out what, if anything, needs to happen on our end.
In terms of my plan and getting this plan approved, though, I can leave the status quo paint. I don't have to repaint my building.
Yes.
We're talking here about signage, and what you're saying is you're giving indication that a beige background with black lettering for all signs would be acceptable. The names of the businesses would have to be on the signs. The neon sign would have to go, and that's about it that I've got Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
The beige proposal 3 also, I think, has an border on it. The signs. That's a
correct,
black border,
correct.
and you want that? Yes.
Yes, just as it looks.
Okay, border. Okay, and the font. I have no idea what the font is, but okay. So
You'll
this
just
is. Go
decide
ahead.
if you want the signage on along Pickwick or not, and work with Eric about whether you want to move forward with what you currently have in there, or if you want to take out those signs.
Well, you made your point was, well, how do you identify the businesses if I take the signs down? And the idea was that the neon, in her case, would be her would identify her business. But if you're saying that the neon is not going to be allowed, then she has nothing. And so that would argue for, yes, just continuing on with the proposal as we've agreed, and leaving the 3 signs in place, and then going to the Zoning Board of Appeals for the variance.
Okay.
So I have not talked to Deb about that, my tenant, and I will certainly do that right away.
Great.
So
Thank you.
You're all set.
I am. Okay. So I just thank you very much. I will proceed. Thank you, Eric. And we'll
Appreciate it.
Steve. We'll be in touch.
We'll talk soon. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Get that ZBA application in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank
bye.
you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next up, we have 3350 Erie Boulevard. Is that you?
Yes.
Welcome. We'll pull up the drawings here. You want to join us up here?
Is Adam coming?
I don't know if you're coming or if he's zooming.
Oh, he's just walking in right now.
There you go.
Perfect. You can have a seat up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, just have a seat, join us. So we are discussing 3350 Erie Boulevard. All right. I think we're trying to get close to the end here, and I think we got to talk about parking and some building elevation stuff.
Sure.
Like the light pole. Yeah. We want to pull up the site plan. Biggest thing that I think we've been wrestling with right now is existing paving, existing parking up at the top, but it is right up against that fence line. We need to kind of get that cleaned up and screened enough from the neighbors. So I think there's a wood fence there, there's a chain link fence there, there's a couple fences in there. But that has to kind of get cleaned up, that edge. I don't think we can pull the parking. I mean, you are required to have a buffer between the two. Which is why we're trying to find a way to, because if we do the buffer, then we lose those 6 spots up very top, which puts you into even further efficiency. So we got to find a way to kind of clean up that edge and protect the neighbor in there. I don't think it's a good solution of cleaning it up.
Parking lot, there's like a fence between you and that house. You got 2 fences. There's 2 fences, the chain link and the wood fence. So they're asking for you to clean it up so that it still creates, so when people park at night, the light doesn't go into the home.
Well, I mean, right now it's all overgrown and grown out in the parking area.
Oh.
I mean,
But you might want that because that'll help protect lighting from
This
cars.
depends on the condition of the wood fence too.
all the vines and stuff that goes away. There's a couple of pictures up there.
Do you know if both those fences are owned by the resident? was the chain link supposed to be owned by this property or any idea about that? On the survey, they're like right along the property line.
I'm not sure, that may have to be something discussed with that neighbor. If they've been there, cause I feel like they might have been there longer than that last tenant for this building. If they get so long, they might not even know.
Might be a good idea to talk to the neighbor about that, so you don't wind up getting a bunch of complaints. Just if there's something else that they
Yeah.
want there.
Homeowner.
Yeah.
So it looks like the wood fence is slightly on the neighbor's lot and
Yeah.
the chain link is like right on the property line, so. Not really.
I
See,
mean,
maybe
chain
the
links-
chain link was this business.
It probably is because it's an it's a
Business.
industrial business nature and then the fence. And they
The
put
neighbor
up their
probably put it up to block the light themselves.
protective, yeah.
And then that light pole, light fixture.
Yep, updating the head on that light pole fixture. Looks like this one has been done. So,
I mean, I possibly what could be a condition is that maybe nobody knows who owns it, that can happen, if they can't find out, and the answer is, should that fence become in disrepair or come down, it has to go back up.
Yeah.
It's a condition that there be that barrier.
Yeah, and I think it's our responsibility to protect the neighbor and the
Right.
neighborhood, the residential
Right.
side of things.
Right.
So that condition may very well be something that we can.
That lighting appears to be totally planted by.
The what?
The lighting appears totally,
The pole.
both are probably negative, final purchased, like on a rental basis. So their ability to just change out lighting is gonna be limited to what the utility can provide.
Those
Were you
lights
saying
go
that
on,
this was a NIMO?
It's a service that they provide. Purchase lighting from them on a monthly basis. Typically, it's off of their poles, the poles could be their poles. So they have very limited offerings in terms of lighting, so if an interest in regard to dark sky is something. Like the owner would have to initiate the thing.
almost thinking to not even have the pole anymore as I talk about it, because I don't know how you're gonna not have spillover on that light.
is it not on now?
If they were paying.
It's the wrong-
That-
type of light.
that light bulb,
Yeah.
like, is that
Wrong type
light?
of light on it,
Yeah, I think, yeah, one of the. I sort of think I try to call natural grade sometime, and I have business certification call it. Light of the day is dark. And better where we fix some wood, put some light a little bit. And find it a bit different upon a lot, I will camera system, the light to be late.
So yeah, now that I'm talking about it more, it seems almost the wrong type of light fixture to have here. Our code says you to have 0.1 foot candles at the property line. I don't know how any light here is not gonna spill over onto the. So maybe exploring whose light this actually is on the survey, it looks like it's fully on your property, but.
If that light with the supply lines, that light go back to the other pole, just connect to the secondary service. Like that,
That's naturally,
that's national.
that's not us.
But the requirement that we have for lighting still stands, regardless of whether the lighting is provided by national grid or. So I think we're saying that lighting is not allowed in our code.
Right, what we're paying for.
So what does National Grid do? I mean, they,
Right,
They would just remove. their service. It's more than likely their pole, their light, their wire. How many requests will be?
Is anyone big advantage to, like, how bad is it? Street
As
light
opposed to
that's
the
there.
service that they're buying, actually.
Or is it also, do we consider it existing?
You
It
need-
just is, and they're not changing the pole location, they're not changing anything on there, I mean. Right,
This
but
is
in their
strange
case,
'cause it's national, it's all.
right, it's National
Grid.
Grid, and even if they update the light, and the reason that we're asking people to update, I mean, besides the energy efficiency and the LED side is to look to be dark sky compliant to protect the neighborhood, but in this case, it's not gonna change. To your point,
That would be a huge, huge additional conversation between us and National Grid. About them bringing their lighting in our town into conformance with our code. I don't see that going very well.
Well, I think we'd probably be more likely to take this pole down and try to light it in a different way back there. It's really tall.
But another reason why maybe a conversation with the neighbor may be
Yeah.
helpful,
Like, does the light bother them? Like,
It might be why it's overgrown.
right?
yeah.
And maybe they would be, you know,
You might have less problems talking to the neighbor now than getting complaints afterwards.
Certainly, there's an option that the neighbor doesn't even know that they have. The ability to say, I don't like this lighting.
so. You have the one ADA space up front. We talked at some point about maybe doing a ramp down here, but it seems that it's pre-existing and not very feasible to do so. We had you remove the parking spaces from the side. So you have the one ADA space up front. Are you still entertaining options for a second tenant along the side here?
Don't know what to read.
At this point, for us to kind of move forward and figure out the exact parking, we need to know for sure if there's a second tenant or not. Before.
You know, some lawyer called me like he need to rent it. I thought I can't do anything or do anything finish you guys with the permits. I can some guys called me for phone store, the last store with it. Try rent phone store. I told them I don't do anything, just I need to finish with the permit, finish everything.
So we can't figure out.
I mean,
No, but
We
we're
can get,
looking at the whole
and you can,
building anyway, yeah.
right, you can
We
say,
just have to look at the building.
or you can say if it's office X, if it's.
Yeah.
we
Retail
gotta make sure that
X.
there's signage there, no parking. And you understand that those spaces in front cannot be used for parking. These ones there, those areas there, they cannot be used for parking because they actually are. The majority of the paving and the parking area is actually in the town right away. You're backing out into the street, so those are non-compliant spots, so we can't even count those in terms of the parking count those. So
I'll put some sign over there. I used to
Yeah.
park here,
Yeah.
park in the back or funny.
that's what we'll need to make sure that there's
Yeah, I can-
no parking signs
Yeah, I
there.
can put sign, just pick up like some.
Yeah, it could be,
come in.
loading, if somebody needs to back a
Yeah.
truck in there, load something up and leave, that's fine, but no permit.
Yeah, that's what I wanna talk, at them, tell them.
Yeah.
The two park, the city to us, this is, I can put some sign, no park lot for a long time, just pick up or deliveries come in, our trucks come drop some stuff, it just go. Anybody can park in the back or find it this.
Right. Okay. Then the front of the building. What else?
You want to sign?
Yeah, we talked about the sign, but did you have other,
Yeah, I want to talk about the variance also.
well, let's stick with the variance because we're talking about that right now,
Yeah,
instead of stuff
so- in order for this board to do a recommendation to ZBA, so if you want to get your ZBA application in. For parking.
Well, I think we need to say what his. Or help him come to what is the number, right, that's required, so there's.
And so that's kind of the other piece.
Mhm.
I think the whole building is about 4,500 square feet. So now you have in your calculation, you've got the barber shop and the deli. It's slightly less than the total. So if you're talking about adding a third tenant, that kind of adds a little more square footage into the,
Just gonna have to look at the whole building.
They have more square.
well, because they have,
In their calculations right now.
when it first came in, it was the whole building. So now there's 4,094 square feet. On Connect Explorer, the floor area is 4,654.
So if there's a possibility of renting everything out, I think we need to just count the whole building. So do you know what that exact square footage is of the building?
Not off the top of my head, I thought we had a calculation.
On the first set of plans when it came in.
$16.
You said?
4716.
32 spaces.
But I understand the building is, there's kind of like 3 floors, there's that
Yeah.
top floor that's kind of just a bathroom and storage. So. Once we did break it into 2 tenants, we had, all right, here was the space of the deli, here was the space of the barber shop. You had kind of that odd 3rd floor that wasn't really included in the calculation at that point.
That'd be another 510 feet.
So if we're looking at the whole building, if you're talking about possibly filling up the whole building at a point. We'd be at 32 spaces instead of the 28, so when we need to make a recommendation to the ZBA, we just need to know what number. to go off, so if you're saying that maybe there'll be a 3rd tenant in there. The parking count will be higher, so you'll need to.
I
ask
think
for a
we
greater
need to say.
Yeah.
That I think we need to get kind of the total worst case scenario, that it is. Leased out in total, because that way, when we do the variance, we say you require 32 spots, you have 7 or whatever it is, 13 spots. You know, the variance is X, that way. Because otherwise, we come in. We only do a smaller variance, you have another tenant that comes in, and then you have to increase your parking somehow, or you gotta come back and get a whole other variance, and that's not,
Let's just do the whole building.
you know.
Well, he's saying that the 3rd floor would just be storage. I mean, you'd have to access another tenant space to go up there anyway, so I feel like it'd be just
Then it would be part
Storage
of
for
that
what?
tenant,
For one of
but-
the tenants?
probably that 2nd floor tenant.
Okay, so that's part of the.
that's part of their
Tenant space.
tenant space, so.
Right.
It doesn't impact you,
Right.
but it gives you the most flexibility right now. So,
Because I need a little storage for my daily and keep some stuff. You can change all the stuff, the 1st floor. You got freezer, you got a lot of stuff.
right,
It's like back storage.
don't look at that as a negative. We're trying to set this up now as taking the whole building into account, getting the correct numbers in there, because you're limited on the amount of space that you have on the site to 13 stalls, 13 parking stalls. Like, we're not gonna be able to get any more than that on this site, so we need to make a recommendation, but we don't wanna make a recommendation short on square footage. Let's take all of the square footage and say, if this whole building is taken and fit out for tenants, you're gonna need 32 parking stalls. So, but we can only provide 13. We're gonna make a recommendation based on that. It doesn't matter if it's storage for you, for somebody else. Like, we're looking at the entire building and making a recommendation based on that. So it's not a negative, it's just we're capturing the entire building instead of bits and pieces of the building. So that's the variance that they would need. And then multi-tenant sign package that would have to happen.
So we mentioned filling in that kind of railing structure on the front.
Yep.
Fill that in solid, then you can mount your sign to that. That'll also help screen any rooftop equipment you have for the deli. So if you're proposing the barber shop on the side, again, have the sign there.
Well, either way, if you're having a multi-tenant, if this is going to be a multi-tenant building, the multi-tenant sign plan should show signage. Doesn't necessarily need to show what the business name is gonna say, but where each sign is gonna be, the size, dimensions, sign band dimensions, all of that stuff. Work with Eric on that.
And so again, if you were thinking of adding a third tenant, now would be a good time to just box in that signage where it potentially would go in the future. So that if you did want to add that, you already have the plan for it, you don't have to come back and amend it. But again, those will have to make that decision before you present your final plan, because we're gonna look at it all at once.
And your drawing for the front signage should show that filled in.
And if you could, when you get to putting the multi-tenant together, Adam, if you could have that on like a standalone sheet too. So I think everybody was okay with the parking in the front. We talked to DOT. You're adding a little bit of grass here to stop people from trying to go out this way. You have the railing come down. Not adding more street trees. You've got the bike rack over here in your property lines. Got the dumpster enclosure in the back. When we talk about this space 12, but make sure that's fully on. I think you're pretty much there. Just all the parking spaces need to be fully in your property line, which I think you got. Any other like aesthetic improvements to the building? You gonna paint anything or?
Just what's needed for the signage.
Paint needed for the signage, you mean?
No, just any exterior work before the sign, just like filling in the railing, painting.
So the colors are just gonna match, you know, whatever new work is gonna match the existing colors.
Yeah.
I think the color I like, just make the color same one.
Right.
Just put in one after you open it and you paint it, like make sure it's a new one.
If you want to do any window signs, those should show on the multi-tenant sign plan as well. You're allowed 25% of the area of the windows facing the street.
But it also gets added into the total signage.
Yep,
So.
up to your 120 total per tenant.
Yeah, and just for future, because we are having problems with other tenants, like you're not allowed to just fill up the window with signage and advertisements and all this other stuff, no neon signs, all that fun stuff. Like, you're limited to 25% of that window area. Other than that, free and clear. Okay, what else? All set. So the big step is getting the ZBA stuff in so that we can get that reviewed. Make a recommendation to ZBA. And we'll keep pushing this forward.
Any questions for us?
No. Good.
Great,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
No, EA, just FYI, the next deadline is February 23rd, the March 16th meeting.
When's that meeting?
March 16th.
So I have to come back to the planning board to get a
For the
recommendation
recommendation.
for that.
So the 6th is the next planning board meeting. If you get your application in by the 23rd, then we can put you on for the 26th here.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, thank you. All right, no other work sessions this morning. Close the meeting.